they, in a way, they went against the rules of the school, because they're not supposed to use phone in the school in the first place, but they smuggled the phone in, and then they used the same phone to carry out this activity. So when you say the parents and the teachers should look at the broader picture, how should we go about this?
Yeah, you see, even with the preliminary investigation that the school conducted, point to the fact that the phone that was used for that activity was not a phone that belonged to the student. It was during a visiting hour that somebody smuggled in the phone. So clearly, you cannot put the children in terms of the violation of the school rules. But however, I also feel that even if it's a visiting hours, the school should have a safeguarding policy to regulate the behavior of visitors when they enter a particular school environment. Elsewhere, it's very restricted, especially when it's visiting hours, because more or less you have opened a floodgate for people to come in. Therefore, you expect that they will put up certain behaviors. That is the very time that you have to even strengthen your regulations, and that is what we want to see. And if there are certain regulations that the schools must also let students know, they must devote time and resources to expose children to this kind of rules and regulations. You only see school authorities invoking of rules and regulations when they have committed certain offenses. So it is time that once students enter school environment, the school rules and regulations must be made known to them. Information must be provided on school rules and regulations so that we don't find them doing that. And even visitors who come to the school must also get to know of the rules and regulations before they enter the environment. Therefore, that would let them regulate the environment in the manner that we have to do it. But I don't think that what has happened has to do with violations of regulation, but it has to do with the personal behavior of students and what we have exposed to them that we have to treat. So the emphasis of dealing with this particular issue should be on treatment rather than the kind of punishment or asking them to go and stay at home. Moving them from the boarding facility and placing them in the larger society it serves more threat to the student even than they being in a boarding house. And then also ensure that at least the school authorities will have programs and activities that will deal with the broader picture. And if they've sanctioned them on the basis of them restricting them in terms of having access to the school environment, that also to some extent can lead to the violation of their fundamental rights as children. So the focus of this particular thing should be on how the school authorities can prescribe a proper treatment for these students. And for me, that should be the focus over the activities of the parent, the school authorities, and even the whole student association in terms of how they deal with the broader picture. And I must also say that this is not only limited to Adisuma Secondary School. It's a big issue, and we have to look at it with a bigger picture than how it is now, so that we can find a better solution for it. But punishing them and sacking them from the school, for me, is even a violation of their fundamental right.
There is a school of thought that says that actually Ghanaians, our libido for sex is high. Is this seeping through our educational corridors?
Yeah, well, I don't have research in terms of the level of the highness of people's libido, but what I can say is that it is a social issue, and everybody would pick one social issue or the other. And if you are not able to deal with the sex education in this country, then we will leave room for people to define their kind of a sexual education that they need, because sex is part of us and we need to learn it in the right way, and that for me is what we have to do. And there's also an issue that as a nation we are not dealing with, that has to do with a period in which most of our students who are in the SHS are in. It is a period of recognition, so they would tend to do anything at all to be recognized, and that is what we are missing. It's also a period that children are in crisis in terms of competing with their internal behavior, the societal demands and all that, and now the social media demand that we place on them. So we should not take it for granted and say that they are stubborn, they have committed offense, therefore we need to punish them. But let's look at things that we can do to address the fundamental issues, so that we don't even see the byproduct of the things that they've done.
Final question to you: would the introduction of CSE, comprehensive sexuality education, help in this regard?
For me, we've been teaching sexual education for a long time, but it is just a means, the name that is really confusing, and then the current development in our system that is bringing us. So we need to sharpen the policy and make sure that we get it right in the context of our cultural system and the things that we can do and things that we can expose our children to. It's very, very critical, because when you pick the Africa Charter, it talks about training children within the context of their culture. So we cannot miss that. That is very critical in providing sex education.